Hey guys, how's it going? ItZMuRdA here with a, I don't even know what this is. This is I haven't been on YouTube in a really long time, and I apologize, video to try to catch up on some things that have been going on, current events and patch notes alike. So I wanted to start off, since I'm going to go through the past two patches, the two updates, game updates that have happened for PlanetSide in June so far, the one that's happened today, June 19th, as well as the one that happened back on June 3rd that I didn't have its own video for, so I apologize about that. But first, before we get into the notes themselves, a lot of really exciting stuff going on this weekend, the weekend of June 20th through the 22nd, so I just wanted to go over some of that really briefly, kind of like what I would in a current events video without going into so much detail. First and foremost, it is another double EXP weekend for members in PlanetSide 2. It was, I think, the last on the list of the ones that were announced a few months back, so be sure to hop into PlanetSide if you are a member. Consider getting a membership if you are not, and enjoy some WXP. I certainly will be, and I'll be trying to stream as often as I possibly can throughout that time frame as well. I know I'm set to work like 12 plus hours on Saturday, but we'll do what we can. Anyway, in addition to that, it's also the weekend of MLG Anaheim, and there's going to be a 3-day stream going on the official twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 channel. With Maggie and RaiderX and Hamma and Jen and the whole crew that's over there, doing some special stuff, kind of similar to what they did at Anaheim last year and what we did at Columbus, which I was really, really happy to be a part of. So be sure to tune into that. I'm also going to be, tuning into that as much as I can, hanging out in the chat and stuff like that. I really wish I could have made the trip out to Anaheim this year, but next time, or at least when the MLG events come back to the East Coast. In addition to that, there's actually a PAL tournament of sorts that's going to be broadcast on the stream for the MLG event that I'll be very honored to participate in. So that'll be pretty cool, participating alongside Future Crew in that with a few other outfits. And in addition to that, there is a server smash. It's actually the merger smash, or whatever you want to call it, merge smash, that's on screen right now, that's going on tomorrow night, June 20th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're unfamiliar, just really quick, I'll link this in the description. This has all the info you need to know. This is ItZMuRDA's post on Reddit about it. But in true server smash fashion, they're going to do a Matherson versus Waterson battle. But if you didn't know, the Matherson and Waterson servers are going to be merged in the near future, and the winner of this battle keeps the name for when the servers combine. So that's pretty awesome stuff, I think. I'm pretty pumped about it, and I will be playing for the Matherson team during that event. So any of this stuff that I can stream on my own channel and all of that, I certainly will as well. But there's a lot of awesome stuff for you to check out, and I'll put all these links and whatnot in the description below. Really, really awesome, cool things going on this weekend. So be sure to tune in. Be sure to be in touch. And like I said, I'll be in the other streams. I'll be having my own stream up. I'll be participating as much as I possibly can. So I'm really looking forward to it. Going forward with patches, before I get into the actual update notes, just pointing out a tweet that Higby put out yesterday with a really ambitious plan of saying that their plan as of right now, especially with all this stuff going on, is to get Hassan, continent locking, outfit recruitment, and outfit base capture, all of them, live with next week's update. So we'll see if that's true. Heck, even if it's 2 weeks from now, I think that's sooner than I was kind of expecting for all of those features. A lot of retweets and favorites, as you can tell. So hopefully that's good news. We're looking forward to seeing them in the very near future, one way or another. That all being said, actually getting on and along to the update notes. I apologize for the couple minutes segue in the beginning, but I wanted to make sure you guys had that info, and I unfortunately didn't have enough time in the day to do 2 different videos today, so I wanted to put that out there up front. The update notes, I guess, going chronologically, even though this might not make sense since these are 2 weeks old at this point, for June 3rd, we'll go through them really quickly. There's now the 3% bonus EXP that you would get previously with squad boosts or heroic boosts is now also a perk of the membership. It actually stacks with it, so that if you have a heroic boost and a membership, you're adding 6% bonus EXP to your group. At least that's how it seemed like it was functioning when I was playing. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's pretty awesome one way or another, that members now have that. You can see the little arrow up icon. There's 2 different colors for it now, depending on, I think BB wants food, depending on if it's from the membership or from the boost. They changed the thresholds yet again, not quite 100%, 0%, but now they're 94 and 7% up and down from 75 and 15 for your empire to get that continent domination threshold. That might be in preparation for some of the changes we were just talking about coming next week. But nonetheless, that is the case. They've also added lattice links between everything adjacent to a warp gate, so it's not just like you have one or two or whatever ways out of your warp gate. You now can get to every single base that's adjacent to it, so that's cool. Likewise with those hexes being adjusted. Short deploy timer and instant action when a player is dead. This is actually pretty cool. I keep forgetting about this, so I haven't actually used it yet. But I would always see what instant action was, where it was going to take me, maybe 10 seconds prior, then I would die or something like that, and I'd just hit instant action again, assuming I was going to go to the same base, and then I would just instant deploy me somewhere else, and I was like, oh shit. So that's cool to have a heads up on it now, even when you're on your map screen. They added a handful of new ribbons. Not going to go through all of them. Of course, all of the stuff's linked in the description below. But among them are a lot of support things, additional EXP for doing things that aren't just kill 10 people with this gun or what have you. So for resupplying, for destroying tanks, for destroying air with air and both air with ground, for a motion sensor, radar, and spotting assist, 2 separate ones there, for supporting people with AMS spawns at your sunder. This one's pretty interesting. Marksman for infantry versus infantry kills at ranges greater than 70 meters, roadkill and ram kills, point control for capturing ABC and so forth. Savior, as in you've seen the saved by that popped up. But now there's actually a ribbon for it for tracking it. This is for activities relating to generators, squad spawns via Beacon Center or Galaxy, and deployment bonuses for transporting friendly places who then go on to earn kills shortly thereafter. I'm actually curious what the kind of the how that works, how long it lasts or what have you, but that's pretty cool nonetheless. Additionally, just bug fixes. Speculative fix for the base flipping. I don't know if that's since been resolved even further. Refactored code that will improve how areas are handled in general, gravity pads and such like that. Significant amounts of logging in case the 2 fixes above don't work. They refunded certs for when optics, scopes, and so forth were incorrectly deducting them for a very small group of players that were incorrectly charged twice for that. Implants, the charger energy values have been increased, and the drop rates have been reduced. I don't know that that's necessarily... I mean, it's kind of an evolving discussion. If you saw the FNO panel that I was happy to be on with Scourge and Kid Riot and Maggie on last FNO, I mean, we were discussing this among other things, just trying to get the balance right for compelling implant gameplay. But it's an evolving process, so that was the latest iteration of adjustments to that. The bug fixes, I'm trying to remember if there was anything major in here. I think infantry decals appearing over the armor is a pretty huge one. Everybody was really excited about that. The other stuff is pretty basic things that you kind of, just expect to happen that were bugged or weren't happening for one reason or another. Apologies if I miss anything. I just don't want to make this one Gigunda video when I'm probably going to have a Gigunda video for the upcoming patches that include a heck of a lot more content, like the Hassan patch and so on and so forth. But as I was saying, yeah, I'm pretty sure all of this stuff is just making things that were unintended intended, as you would normally expect them to function. That being said, jumping to today's patch. Oops, we're scrolled down a little bit. These are the update notes for June 19th. The Travis Manion Foundation weekend, again, I should have probably included that in my other talks about June 20th to the 22nd. If you remember last year, or I'm not sure if it was exactly the same dates or similar time frame, but they did a thing where 10% of all sales from the depot went to Travis Manion Foundation. You would get a decal if you had purchased something during the time frame as well. And I think they're working it a little bit differently this time around, but I'm not sure if it has one of these tabs in here. I probably should have done that research first. But anyway, last time it was you buy an item and you get the decal. The decal that you would get... Well, that's definitely not what I wanted to click on. The decal that you would get is one that I should have on here, but oh, I'm in VR, so I guess it's going to be under T. Yeah, TMF Hero from last time. Now it looks like they're going a different route with actual bundles that'll be unlocked in 8 hours and 1 minute from making this video, so they're probably unlocked in all honesty already, where you get these 3 different types of decals, but they're bundles, so that you get the equivalent for each empire. And I'm not actually sure of all of the contents of it yet since it's not out yet, but it says boost can only be used on this character, so it looks like it includes a boost as well. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of info on it just because it's coming soon, but you'll know. Just go to the depot, click bundles, it'll be up at the top, and definitely consider that, if not for supporting a great cause, then to probably get some what I assume to be limited time items as well. So cool stuff there. Moving on from that, we have some beginnings of Liberator and tank changes that we're seeing. The rest is still being held on PTS and whatnot. They had that pretty awesome playtest with Higby and Kevmo, and I think Burness was there. I think Luke was there for a little bit. So thanks guys for jumping on that TS and hanging out in that playtest. That was on the test server the other day to try to get some more feedback on the upcoming vehicle changes. For now, they are reverting some of the stock armor changes on the Liberator that were originally made, I guess, in the actual lib update. Basically just bringing resistance to armor-piercing heat and non-lock-on rockets back to prior values, if you will. I don't think this necessarily makes a lot of sense to a whole lot of people, just looking at the numbers. The composite armor benefit is remaining the same, but of course is less effective when you stack it on to the fact that the stock armor is being reverted. Lib engine audio is probably a cool change, just to be more noticeable for greater distance, but it does not affect the actual crew of the Liberator. So I think that's good news, right? Why not? Dalton, I'm not going to read through all of the very specific changes. If you're a big lib pilot or gunner or otherwise interested, definitely check them out as far as how much the damage was reduced or how much the radius was increased or reduced or whatever. But just to give you a general idea of what they're going for, they're trying to design, or define, I should say, the roles of the weaponry a little bit more than it was before. So the Dalton is basically reducing its effectiveness against infantry by reducing the blast damage and blast radius to be similar to an armor-piercing tank shell, as opposed to having the ability to also slaughter infantry rather easily. The Zephyr, which I still thought the Zephyr was bad, but maybe I just don't know anything about Liberators, is also receiving a reduction in effectiveness against infantry. I guess that's because the Duster came out, but still. But it will remain more effective anti-personnel option than a Dalton, of course. It's kind of the middle ground between them, due to the fact that it's more forgiving with a 6-round mag and the blast radius that it has. Basically, they're saying the intended role is a variant of the Dalton that trades some vehicle damage for being more forgiving and more effective against infantry. And then moving along, the Duster, again, as I was just mentioning, is actually going to be the primary anti-infantry, and of course it needs a buff. I don't think many people disagree with that, so the blast radius is being increased, both inner and outer blast radius in this case, by a couple of meters. The Shredder, likewise, is being toned down away from being so effective against infantry and small targets such as Maxes and soldiers, and it's getting its blast damage reduced, or rather removed, its ammo capacity greatly reduced. And then this is just the certified ammo capacity to compensate for that. And they said Maxes are receiving a bump in armor-piercing resistance as well. Tank changes, all they're putting in with the tanks this go-around is the fact that the turrets are now stabilized. I'm not much of a tanker, so I don't really know how I feel about that yet. I'd have to actually try it out. But basically it just means that the elevation of the turret's not going to move when your chassis is changing elevation, if you're on hills and other sorts of weird terrain, if you will, unless you hit the constraint, upper or lower constraint, where it would be crazy and your turret would be like going in a wacky direction. Also, the Vanguard acceleration is being increased in terms of actual movement speed, not projectile velocity. Still making it the slowest tank, but faster to accelerate than it was before. The rest of the tank changes are still on test, likewise with lib stuff, I believe, although mostly tank-focused changes are still on the playtest, and will be there until they feel like they're ready to release them. So, especially if you're a tanker or somebody who hates tanks one way or another, definitely go check it out and let your voice be heard, because there's still time to influence them. I mean, not that there isn't after the fact, because as you saw with the lib stuff, they reverted some of the changes from the lib update anyway. Anywho, moving along to some ESF adjustments. Similar stuff as what we were talking about with the lib belly guns. Rocket pods are receiving a direct hit damage reduction to lower its effectiveness against vehicles. These are the actual numbers for the different types of pods depending on which empire you play. But they're basically adjusting it so that one full volley of rockets in the rear of an MBT is going to put it on fire instead of completely destroying it. Likewise, Hornets need a buff to, yet again, to make them, more compelling as an anti-vehicle choice, and their damage is getting increased. I wonder if that will make them, well, I guess not, because they were really fun for anti-infantry, but I guess if you aim properly and you get 2 direct hits with them, that could be a lot of fun still against infantry and maxes, but you're not going to have the splash that they did when they came out still. Nonetheless, these are more defined roles for them too, and I think that makes sense. Airhammer, still too effective against libs, tanks, large armored targets. So the pellet spread is being tuned around hitting ESFs as its primary, vehicle that it would need to hit. Changing the gun type and so on and so forth, basically making it still effective for infantry and light air, but not as effective against heavy targets and so on and so forth. Coyote Missile is just a small nerf. Well, I say small because it's one line, but you say if it's small or not, that's up to you to decide. Increasing the reload speed from 3 to 4 seconds. Max units, there's that resistance to AP rounds increased from 48 up to 60%. The NS shotgun, which I unfortunately haven't had much of a chance to use yet outside of VR, has gotten a few minor tuning adjustments, faster reload overall at this point, as well as improved accuracy when running an iron sights, which is an interesting thing for a shotgun, not a situation you're usually in, but why not, right? Can't hurt in that regard, to have a bit more of an accurate shotgun for people who want to take some shots while standing still, and kind of maybe even if you're the slug shotgun user, something to consider for sure. So moving along into some miscellaneous changes, some soccer or football, depending on what you call it, relative to the World Cup, cosmetics have supposedly been added to the depot. I might be an idiot, but when I looked for them, I couldn't find them, so I'm not sure if that's something that's going to get flipped on tomorrow or something along those lines. I did a quick search. I looked at Taylor's Twitter. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I didn't see them in the depot. Let me know if they are there, and I will certainly edit in an annotation. But I looked at the infantry vehicle gear, the bundles, the camos, and so forth. I didn't see anything of the new stuff that was like screaming soccer-related items. So I'm a little stumped on that one, unfortunately, and I might just be making myself look like a fool, or I might be telling you the truth. So I don't know, one way or another. I think they're supposed to be there. Maybe they are there, maybe they're not there. If they're not, they probably will be soon. But if anybody has any more info on that, I do appreciate it, so feel free to post in the comments. Optics purchase with Station Cache, as is most stuff with Station Cache, will be now unlocked account-wide, so that's cool stuff. Added an option to turn down the bloom, which is not something, unfortunately, I've gotten to really play around with yet, but something I'm very, very excited about. And UI.bloom effect. Interesting. Okay, so it's this checkbox in your graphics settings. And again, like I said, I wouldn't really be able to advise, but bloom is the #1 thing that I've disliked about having high graphics settings in the past. So I will certainly revisit my graphics settings, see if, I'm thinking I want to have it turned off regardless, but seeing if maybe there's some other things I could now turn up in lieu of that. I really don't know. I wish I had an answer in advance, but it's something I'll be messing around with. And if you have, any experience with it so far, anything to share, please feel free to as well. I'm curious to know what people have to say about that. Moving along from that, soldiers who place explosives will now get assist EXP if they are in fact detonated by somebody else and kills an enemy of the person who placed it. The assist EXP is the exact same EXP as a full kill. It's just a way of rewarding the person for actually placed it, as opposed to only the person who detonated it. Engineers, not energies, can now equip the ammo pack directly by pressing your ability key, default F or whatever you have made it if you've rebound it, your heavy assault shield, your infill cloak, so on and so forth, that same button. And then to coincide with that, the ammo pack is no longer equipped in the utility slot and no longer in alternate fire mode on the Ace tool, Womp womp. That was like the best known secret that you could, and not intentionally a secret, but the best known secret that I could think of, that you could turn your turret into an ammo pack and not have to carry it in the utility slot. However, really happy to hear this. It's much more intuitive for the new player experience, and NGs now always have their ammo pack that they can just pop out and throw like you would use an ability, say for the medic with the new regen ability, where you press your ability button to take out your shield. It's now a physics object and not in the deploy system anymore, kind of like C4. You throw it anywhere you want. Another great change there, and the ammunition cert line can still be found in the engineer certs. All the rest remains the same. Medic tool, another change that I think a lot of medics are pretty excited about in terms of quality of life improvement. Left click will be your heal as always, and right click will be your revive button now, so you don't have to be like, oh, I'm trying to res this guy but I'm just healing this other guy, or vice versa. Visuals on the regen field will now grow to match the range of the devices inserted up. That's pretty good. I'm glad that reflects that appropriately. Likewise adjusted the visuals on it to improve performance even better. Sunder owners get 5 EXP per player who spawns, up from 2. Flash kills are now 100, up from 25. Added spotting voice callouts for deployed enemy Sunders and spawn beacons. It's interesting. And this is another one of those, I need more information. Could be really cool, right? Adjusted lag compensation to improve overall responsiveness. I don't know what that means. It sounds like it's something that I really want, and probably my favorite change of the entire patch, but I have no idea what it means. So would appreciate some more information there. Also a little worrisome, since things in the past that have been adjusted, such as hitboxes and whatnot, for the better, have caused some mucking up of things that were the existing status quo. So anyway, I'm interested in knowing more about this, but it's there and it sounds like it's an awesome thing. Rename pistol slot to sidearm slot. Crossbows are now listed as crossbows. I guess that makes a bit more sense, since not everything in the sidearm slot was in fact a pistol. Collision size of placed spawn beacons is now increased so that they're a bit easier to shoot and hit with explosives. That's cool. I'm glad to hear that. The bug fixes, most of them again pretty straightforward, fixing crashes. This one is a huge one for me, assuming it's talking about what I'm thinking, where I go to spawn at a base, often by double clicking on the map rather than in the list, and I guess the spot on the map on the list had changed in between the time that I had went to click on it and then went to deploy or what have you, and you end up at some completely random base. So I'm really glad that was changed, and hopefully you now spawn consistently where you intend to spawn. Changing in drivers and prowlers under one request to teleport back to the initial deploy location. That's a pretty wacky one. Good thing that it's fixed. Some distances, projectiles and bullets could ignore a collision and hit through things like spawn doors. We've seen that with the bottom of some biolabs, so good news that that's fixed. Explosives shouldn't damage facility objects through geometry, through walls, through terrain, through whatnot. That's always a good change. Likewise with aircraft weapons not being able to shoot through biolab shields anymore. Heat shield diffuser now actually, oh look at that, function properly when holding A or D. How about that? Some updates to descriptions and tooltips, audio effects, things working properly again in VR, such as sights and abilities. Bug where the greenhorn voice pack was missing, geometry bugs, decal display, graphics, so on and so forth. 1x scope can now be purchased on the Nighthawk shotgun again for TR. AM6 no longer incorrectly show an advanced laser sight for unlock. That would be interesting. Recoil animations, shield regen description, blah blah blah, and fixing throwable physics objects such as the now ammo packs and tank mines and C4 and so forth, not being thrown if they were activated while the player was sprinting. So that's cool stuff. We made it through. Our most two recent patch notes, as well as some really awesome, exciting upcoming patch-related and weekend-related activities. thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully this wasn't too long for you. I really do appreciate it if anybody sat through or even just listened to the entirety of it. I know watching this is sometimes boring, but I felt like I definitely owed you guys and myself this video. So I do apologize for the delay, for the absence, for all of that. Work has been extremely busy. I fully intend to keep up with all patches, hopefully one patch at a time on the day of the patch, like today's patch for June 19th, and actually get those videos out, as well as getting back to having current events videos separately with things that are going on, and hopefully even more than that, as well as streaming more and more often again. It's just been really busy, so I really do appreciate everybody's continued support, patience, and understanding, and I'm still here, and I'm still here for the long haul, so I hope to see you guys over here on YouTube, as well as on the stream at ItZMuRdA.com, where that website is making progress, and hopefully we can unveil that sometime in the not-so-distant future. Thanks to Dr. Josk again for working on that. It is really greatly appreciated. As with all of that, I am on Twitter like constantly. It's on my phone, so if there's a day where I can't stream or not putting videos up or whatever, and you want to chat, you want to ask a question, you want to talk about something, you can always hit me up on Twitter at ItZMuRdA, same as the YouTube channel name. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Enjoy your EXP, your MLG Anaheims, your server smashes, and all the rest. And go out there, buy some stuff, support the Travis Manion Foundation. Thanks so much, guys. Leave your comments below, any questions or clarifications or things that I undoubtedly got wrong for one reason or another, and I will see you guys around. Have a good one.